Hey everybody, welcome to your unpaid therapist.
Hello, welcome to another episode of your unpaid therapist.
I'm not getting paid. I didn't even get a donut.
Oh, that's sexy though. I like it.
I'm Valery Milagros Ortiz.
I don't know.
I am your host, Alikona. She's away. Bradford.
This is your unpaid therapist. Shoo-wah, cha-cha. Hey everybody, do you see what I see? Because I see a very familiar face, and if you don't see it, maybe you should be watching the video, but if not, that's okay. Hello everybody, welcome to your unpaid therapist. My name is Alikona Bradford, and there's a beautiful ginger somewhere in the mix, and his name is Matt Marr. Hello.
Hello, sugar. Hi, Alikona. Hi, Val.
Hi, Happy New Year.
You look. Valerie looks beautiful too. She's in
She
purple. If you're watching the video, yes. Oh wait. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not.
Wait, what's happening?
Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Had to put on my hat. Yeah, bitches.
Cute.
I love this hat. It's really comfortable.
Yay!
Oh my God, that's
mine out.
amazing. If you're
Yeah.
listening, we have unpaid therapist hats, and Matt is rocking his and looks so
I am.
fabulous.
Val gave it to me a long time ago, and when I was
Yes.
first on your
Yes.
episode, so yeah, I still have it. So
Thank you. Talk about bringing it back from the past to the now and
yeah,
celebrating
bringing
all
it
the
back.
stuff that's happened
Although
in between.
I look like I'm 8 years old in the video with it, but that's okay. She looks young. Let's take it.
Yes. Okay,
Thank
youth. Well, guys, today we are going to talk about narcissism because I feel like that term is thrown around so much these days, especially on IG. It's like you're dealing with a narcissist oh my God, or if someone is into themselves, automatically you're like, oh, they're such a narcissist. But there's so many layers to that. And what better way to dig into those layers than to have somebody who's a profesh like Matt? So that's what we're talking about. But first and foremost, we have to do our song of the week. And this is where I toss it to Val.
And I'm gonna catch that and continue. I'm just gonna go for it. I didn't look it up, but I know some of the words to this because this is exactly how I feel physically, mentally.
Okay.
Oh, I might mess these words up. And I feel like we've done this song. Maybe me. You
Okay.
spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby, right round, round, round. And you guys know the
Yeah.
rest.
Oh yeah. I love that part. Yeah.
So much better than my rendition. Man, Alikona knows this. I got back from the holidays and I am still just like trying to screw my head on right. I woke up this morning feeling super shitty, and I kind of hear it in my like a little nasally. So I just feel like a record spinning. And
I get that.
yeah,
I get
I'm
that.
trying to
Yeah, I
like,
think a lot of people feel that after the holidays.
I've never felt that. And actually, a friend of mine told me this the other day. And Alikona, you said it for me. Holiday. What was it?
Holiday hangover.
Yes. He was like, "Oh, are you feeling the holiday hangover?" I was like, I love that. I'd never heard that term. But I never feel a holiday hangover. I always go to Florida to my parents where it's like
Mhm.
calm. I have my own room. I see my friends. Things are just like relaxed. Like I go for the holidays, I am the most relaxed and just living my best life, doing my workouts, doing stuff with my family. So I come back like rejuvenated, which is what I want
Yes.
my holidays to be like. Like I go home and then I'm like ignited to start the year off, right? Because I just saw like everybody that like reminds me of my why. This is the first time where that was not even close to that. So I just feel really off, really, really off.
I mean, for me, it's not. I never say going. I'm close with my family. I love them. I had a friend saying, they're like, I know I went to see my family, but I'm just tired. I went on vacation. I said, it's not a vacation. You're going to see family because you're a vacation, especially I think at our age, like we are younger than me, but I'm 40. I almost said 46. I'm like, bitch, I've got 2 months. I'm 45. But It's just now when I go back, it's like, "My mom, can you do this for me around the house?" It's not a
Ooh.
vacation, it's you're kind of starting to take care of your parents a little bit.
Yeah,
So, there is just that. It's yeah, so don't say vacation, y'all. It's not.
that's true. That's true. All right, who's next?
Well,
I'm
I'm gonna go simply because I
oh,
know
you're
that
gonna go? Okay.
Matt can sing, and I'd like to not be in your shadow and try to like have some sort of, what do you call it? Not decency, pride. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so this song, most of you will have not heard it because it's not like a huge popular song, but it's a song that my friend sang. So I'm going to try not to
Cute.
butcher it. I've only heard it like a long time ago. Okay. And it's a little ditty, like think jazz nightclub piano, like people snapping their fingers and,
Sure.
jazz, blues. Okay. When I get this feeling, I'm in ecstasy. So squeeze me, but please don't tease me. And she just keeps saying, squeeze me, please
I don't
don't
know that
tease
song.
me. So anyway,
Is it
and
do
I
you
again
feel
I butchered it and
squeezed?
huh?
Do you feel we're snapping. Do you feel squeezed or
Thank
teased?
you. I feel your squeezes. So this is my homage. This song was actually sung by a dear friend of mine who her painting is actually behind me. I am in her room and she just recently passed away. And so she loved to sing and she was 87. And I remember she did this album, I think in 2022. So how cool to be 85 and to record another album.
Wow.
Like she's an actress and she was a singer and like all the things, right? So it's just like so cool that she still like she passed away having still been on a TV show and still working and like just the coolest thing.
Mhm.
So anyways, I didn't want to sing like a sad song about like heaven and angels. I wanted to sing like a ha 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 ditty cuz I don't know.
Mm.
That's her personality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So anyways, that's
Oh, I
that's
love
my song.
that. Well,
Amazing.
I don't wanna
Mm.
follow that, Alikona. Well, shit.
Well, I
Is
mean,
your
you
song
but
like inappropriate?
she's not
No,
Okay.
no,
I wish
no.
it was. That would have been
It's
awesome.
not like some Key Sweat. It's not like, "I don't see nothing wrong." No,
That
it's
would have
not
been
that.
awesome.
It's not that. No, my song is okay. Can you feel the love tonight? It is
Hey.
where we are. And I thought of that song only because I did not go see my family for the holidays. I just stayed here in California. And so sorry, Val. I normally don't do that. And I love my family, but I'd seen them a lot and it
That's
was
right. All the
expensive to go
weddings and
back. Yeah, all the weddings. I was like, I love you people and I actually missed
Uh-oh,
them
what
over the
happened?
holidays.
oh, we froze.
Oh no,
Oh
Matt
no,
froze.
I
Do do do. He
froze.
will be back. While he unfreezes,
Um,
actually, there he. Wait, what?
am I
Can you?
back?
Yes, you're
Yes, you're
back.
back.
I'm
Matt
back.
is back. All right.
You were saying
All right.
that you
No,
didn't go home. You had all the
yeah.
weddings, and you're already seen your family a lot.
I was missing my family, but I spent time with my chosen family here in California. Had a great time, and so
Mm,
I'm like really in a space of I feel rested in a lot of gratitude. Gratitude
I
for
love
my
that.
job, for what I do. Gratitude for I organize my apartment, so gratitude for my space. Gratitude
Mm,
for just being here with both of you. Like so, that's why I'm like I'm
I
feeling
love
the
that.
love right now. So
I
that's where
love
I am.
that.
Aw. Can I
I love
share
that.
some
Like
great
that
with you?
is
Oh.
the greatest way to start. I feel like a new year, and I that kind of energy, and I'm getting there, and I will get there. But that, like, I love cleaning stuff out,
I
organizing.
do.
Alikona,
I love
you
it.
do a really cool ritual. I don't know if you want to share it for the New Year's. That's what I need, like for my mental health. I didn't get that this year, so I'm just. But share your ritual because I love that.
Um, Thank you. So in 2024 at night, I go and I write a list of all the things that were milestones that I accomplished, and I put them in sections, right? So it's like personal growth, relationship, financial growth, career growth, and I write down all the little things, like little minute, but I will go through my planner, right, and be like, January,
Mm.
what did I do? And I'll write it down so that way, if I feel like I've not accomplished much, I can just look at that list and be like, actually, bitch, look at all those things you did.
That's
And
a great
then
idea.
Thank you. And then I'll set my goals on the 1st of January of what I want to achieve that year. And it's cool because I can go back to last year, 2024, January 1st, and I looked at the list that I made and was like, check, check, check. Okay. Like I checked a
Yeah.
lot of things off my list.
Oh,
So yeah,
good.
made my new list for this year. And so that's my tradition.
That's a great
And so now,
tradition.
speaking of self, I'm just kidding. I was like, how are we
Yeah.
going to transition?
Right. Let's just talk about narcissism.
Right.
Um,
So why did you want to talk about this? We've had this conversation, but just for the listeners, why did you think this was like an important thing, or maybe something to teach?
Because you know what? Because there's this guy I follow on IG and he's really awesome because he works in the therapy space and he'll do fun skits. Not fun,
Mhm.
but it's like he'll put a wig on and act as if he's the girlfriend, and then he'll just be himself and dress like a dude and have a conversation. And in that conversation, as a female, he might say, it really hurts my feelings when, or I kind of feel this way, and the guy will be. Anyways, he acts out a scene and then late he'll be like, so this is what's called narcissism, yada yada yada. And so he breaks down what it is and how to deal with a narcissist or like walk away. But also, like I
Mhm.
said in the intro, I think we are quick to dive in and just call somebody that because they love
Mhm.
themselves. So it's like, what is the difference between someone who's just like loving themselves maybe too much or someone who's like a class A narcissist? And what if I'm dating one? How do I know? Or what if I am one? How do I know? And I'm
Mhm.
gonna throw a lot of questions at you, Matt, but we'll dive in. This is where my headspace was at. Cause then I was like, you aren't born a narcissist, right? Like a sociopath and a psychopath are born that way because their brain has some sort of deep, I think, I'm assuming,
Mhm.
dysfunction. But as a narcissist, do you have to go through traumatic events to be that self involved, indulgent? I don't know. So, anyways, Matt,
Mhm.
narcissism. I don't even, like I said, I don't, where do we start?
I mean, it is. I just want to preface that yes, I do have a therapy degree, but I don't mean that as a brag. I mean, it's like I got my degree in 2009. I think I got my degree, and then I started practicing, and then I started telling dick jokes on a podcast, and that's what I do now for a living. So I'm not a practicing therapist anymore, and I bring that up because so much has changed in the conversation. When I was in
Mhm.
college, we studied narcissism. It is a personality disorder. So
Mhm.
it's different in that it's not depression, anxiety. These are yes mental illness and can be depending on how acute and extreme it is. But a personality disorder is very hard to treat, and it is very hard to. I don't love this word, but just so people can contextualize. It's very hard to cure or get past
Mhm.
because it is part of someone's personality. So I feel like if someone is a narcissist and they recognize this, it's something that is like it like somebody who has a relationship with alcoholism or substance. It's a lifelong thing that will probably always need to be checked in. Always, I forget the guy's name. There is a guy who he is a narcissist and he's working on deprogramming his own narcissistic traits. So,
Mhm.
but that's very rare. So I think it's with the but I do think it's thrown around a lot, kind of the way we use like people say, "Oh my God, I'm so OCD." And I'm like, no, you're not. You just like to have your kitchen clean before you go to bed. An OCD
Mhm.
person is someone who cleans their kitchen 4 times before they go to bed and wakes up 10 times in the middle of the night to clean their kitchen. That's
Right.
OCD. It's debilitating. They can't live their life. Just because you like things in a certain order and your sock drawer organized, that just means you like order, not OCD. And
Mhm.
so I do agree with you though. I mean, I have a podcast where we just watch reality shows for a living. So we talk a lot about narcissism or narcissistic tendencies because we see them. There's a lot. I credit. There's a wonderful book by a woman named Dr. Ramani, who's really big on social media right now. She kind of blew up at towards like in 2022, 2023. But her book, It's Not You, it's about healing from the trauma of narcissistic abuse. Highly recommend that book because
Mhm.
I've dealt with narcissists in my own personal life, kind of a lineage of them, and that book has been really helpful. But I feel like I'm talking a lot, and I'm just going to say this, and to answer your question, I learned about grandiose narcissistic personality disorder when I was in college, which is what we think of arrogance, fantasies of like unlimited power, success, Lex Luthor, those kind of like what we think or of narcissism. But what has been really helpful with Dr. Ramani and other scholars now talk about this, there's different types. There's overt narcissism. There's vulnerable narcissism, like the
Oh
narcissist
my god.
that always needs to have you. They always need their self esteem, or they always feel like they're being disapproved. So you always need to constantly validate them, or they often use like their circumstances of, oh, poor me, it's happening to me again.
Got
I'm
it.
not taking responsibility for this. There's also like overt narcissism, which is more of like an extroverted, selfish, overbearing. Then there's covert, where it's like they're sensitive to criticism. You can't. So there's a lot of different. There's even more, but there's a lot of different types of narcissism. Just from me recognizing that a lot of people in my life, when I look back, that I think they either had narcissistic tendencies or potential narcissism. Like I think my own father, I could speak about him because he's gone, so he won't. Don't come back, Daddy. Because I love my father very much, but I think my father had more of that He sometimes had moments of grandiose narcissism. How do I think he was? So people can have tendencies. Do I think he was a
Right.
narcissist? No.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say that
different.
as you were describing some of those different things, I was like, I feel like there could be a little bit of that in all of us or in
Agreed.
certain situations.
Agreed.
Because it
I
just
Yeah.
there were so many.
I feel like too the difference of someone who's an actual narcissistic person and has narcissism is someone who always will put their needs not even above yours, but at the pain of you.
Mm.
And
Mm,
so at
that's
the detriment
interesting.
of you. And they don't care that it hurts you or it affects your life in a negative way. Um,
Interesting.
that is kind of to me, the definition of what constitutes a narcissist versus somebody who, we live in LA and we're surrounded by actors. I'm an actor. You're like,
Mhm.
we're all like, and so we're been around people that are in even our own career. Sometimes you have to be very self-involved about your image. That's not narcissism. Because we don't go around, the three of us at least, we don't go around going, well, I'm going to do this because it serves me, even if it is going to throw someone under the bus and hurt them or
Sure.
so that's the difference.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really um clear explanation, especially the part of hurting the other one, the other or
Yeah.
other people for your own
Yes,
benefit
because
or
the true
pleasure.
narcissists that I've had in my life, when I look back, did not give a damn about if I sacrifice myself. Usually a narcissist aligns themselves with someone who is like, I've definitely realized in the last couple of years, I'm codependent. I've gone to Codependent Anonymous, like CODA meetings and things like that, which have been very helpful for me because the definition of codependency for me is not letting other people in my life experience the consequences of their own actions and or failures or whatever.
Mm,
Like I don't want them to experience hurt. So a lot of times narcissists will align themselves with someone who is codependent because a codependent person never wants their significant other to feel pain, to feel hurt. But
mm,
hurt is a part of our process. There's this idea of is it my problem or is it someone's process that they're hurting? Because we all hurt. That is the things I've learned probably the most in
ooh,
my
can you
life has
repeat
been,
that again?
yeah,
Is it my problem?
or is it
Or
their process? Because
that
often they're going
important.
through their process. They made a dumb decision. They invested wrong, or they got with the wrong business partner, or they got in the wrong relationship, or
Mhm.
they didn't go, they fucked around and like forgot to go pick
Found
up their
out.
kid and their kid's upset. They found out that
They
part.
found out.
They
And
found
and
out.
so you go, "Oh, but I don't well, they did this for this." No, that is their but is it my problem is something I can actually
Mhm.
fix. But
Mm.
There's a saying in that I've stole from Brene Brown, but I believe it's part of Alcoholics Anonymous. Is that I the three C's. I didn't cause it, I can't control it, and I can't cure it. And
Mm.
so, kind of looking at that, that's been helpful for me of distancing myself from a narcissist.
Mm.
And that
It's
usually is what
interesting.
happens. You usually have to kind of distance yourself and end the relationship with them if you find yourself in that, because it's probably not going to get better.
Mm.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Let's see.
Allie.
No, no, I was gonna say it's interesting you say that because I have friends or I know people that tend to be victims often, even though it was their poor choice that got them into the situation. It's like, oh, me again, and why me? And because I love them as a person, I'm like, well, I mean, it's kind of your fault. But at the same time, I hate seeing them sad. So it's like I will try to console them and make them feel better and see the bright side of things.
Mhm.
Whereas I could just and look, that's just part of being a friend, but what you said, Matt, in terms of, like, they need to feel their that's how you learn, like, by the pain of your mistakes so you don't do it again. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
difference in offering comfort and trying to fix a problem that's not your problem.
Mhm. Because then that there's a really fine line with enabling, because then
Oh, that
especially
word.
these people who know your kindness or know your heart, I think they're very much aware of how they say things, how they present a situation to who they are presenting it to, because they know Alikona, they know Matt will
Hmm.
or used to um try to help, try to fix, try to
Yes. Yes.
console, and
Yes.
it's like a leech almost. And I hate to say it like that, but it almost feels like that sometimes with
No,
some of
it
those
is a
people.
leech.
They
That's
like
a great way to
kind of like
explain it.
latch on to where they know they're gonna get that whatever they're looking for,
Hmm.
that
and I know
comfort or
it's so
that.
so that's so crazy to me when I think about because you think about yourself as a human and what you would or would not do to people. And for me, oftentimes it's like, I know what it feels like to feel the pain of X, Y, and Z. So I would never do it to somebody else. And it always blows my mind when someone can purposefully do something, as you said, Matt, to be to their advantage and not care that they're hurting somebody else or know that this action is going to hurt somebody, but it's fine. They'll get over it. I'm going to get what I want. And
The
And I know you mentioned it's a disorder, it's a personality disorder.
mhm.
So,
It's a different kind of piggyback on what Allie kind of was talking about and what you're pointing out, I think, is um it's like I don't knock on wood, all the things. I don't have a problem with drinking alcohol. I can have a beer
mhm,
and that's fine. Or even I was at a with someone who probably she is a bit of a, has a problem with drinking. I remember like a month ago, we went out and like we both had a drink and we were ready to leave. And like I ordered one beer and I had half of my beer on the table and I didn't finish my beer. And she said, "You're not going to finish your drink?" And I was like, "No, I don't. That's all I wanted." And she literally drank my drink. And
mhm,
so it's that thing. She's like, "You can't waste alcohol." And I'm like,
mhm,
okay, but I think that I bring that up not to shame her, and I'm not trying. But I'm saying my brain doesn't even think that way. That's not my
mhm,
rationale, and so I'm trying to use that as an example because I think a lot of us are familiar with alcoholism in our lives, but with narcissists,
mhm.
it's kind of harder to speak.
It is.
But your empathy is sadly for a narcissist, your empathy is their greatest tool and your greatest weakness because
Mm,
they're not you have to divorce yourself from the idea that they think about the world the same way I do. They don't. As you just said, Val, it's a personality disorder. And when we think, but I'm a nice person and I don't want to hurt people, that is that leads to us enabling the narcissist because we think that they're going to come around because people it's this idea of like people say all the time, well, someone's good, someone's bad. And just recently I'm kind of done with those words because I feel like they don't help us. I don't think people are good or bad. I think people are people that are driven by needs, and different people have different needs. And a narcissist personality disorder is going to cause that your needs will always supersede the needs of everyone else around you, full stop. Especially if not serving the narcissist needs makes them look vulnerable, weak, stupid, any type of thing that they feel like they could, because underneath all of it, narcissists are horribly, horribly, horribly insecure. And so it's this, and so it, like you were saying earlier, you can be born with it, and you can, and it's one of those things that it's a little bit of nature and nurture, depending on your circumstances of how you were, whatever you were around during your childhood.
Hmm.
So, given the knowledge of neuroplasticity, could you rewire the brain?
You can, It's just, it's just, and this is coming from a little bit of my experience, but also because I remember having like one or two clients at the time that me and another therapist at the time. I had a co-therapist diagnosed with narcissism. We didn't. I don't remember. I think they were, when I left them as a therapist, they were still a narcissist, because everything happened to them. They had no responsibility in anything. So, as regarding neuroplasticity, you can, but as with Dr. Ramani, like I talked about, she talks about how it is not impossible, but very, 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 very difficult for someone with to rewire that. I don't think they're ever. It's not ever something they're like, oh well, I'm over my depression. I'm not depressed anymore. I'm good. They're always fighting. And if they do realize it's heartbreaking that they're always going to be fighting this narcissistic personality that they have.
Mm.
So then
That's
I have
disheartening.
Sorry, it doesn't sound very hopeful, but
no.
that is part of, and it can be, but that is narcissism is someone with bipolar, that's a personality disorder, or even borderline. Those are very hard to treat as well. But
That's true.
someone with bipolar can get on the right medication. Usually someone diagnosed with bipolar, particularly bipolar 1, they can live a very normal life. They have to be on meds, and there's times where they go off the meds, and there's kind of an up and down. That's not narcissistic personality disorder is not is at least from my limited experiences, does not seem as treatable.
So what do you do then? I mean, I guess the common sense would be like, you leave. But it's like, what do you do if you find yourself in a relationship with somebody and like you're in love with them, but they're a narcissist, or you're the parent of a child and you realize that you're like, how do you, like, what do you do? I don't know if there's a right answer for that.
I mean, if you are in the relationships, and you are experiencing, you can be with a narcissist. Usually it's not great, but maybe for some of you it is. It's also, that's why I like that book. Actually, It's Not You, because she talks about healing from narcissistic abuse. So it kind of triggers, not as just somebody a narcissist, but am I experiencing narcissistic abuse? If you are experiencing that abuse, you need to leave.
But what does that look like? Sorry, really quick. Like, what does that look like?
If you're in a relationship. Now, like you said, if it's your kid or something like that, that's a very different story. That's something where, you should seek professional help for your child and support, and it's just know that it's going to be a long, but there is more neuroplasticity when we are children versus when we are adults, because the brain is not as formed. But I do think if you're an adult and you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they are putting narcissistic abuse on you, I do think you find your community of support, whether it's a therapist, your friends, your church, your whoever can give you support. And I do think most of those relationships you need to exit out of. And it'll be hard because often the narcissist always feels that they were wronged. So you might be leaving in a circumstance where I don't know, like Val said, they got found out. A lot of narcissists have affairs that are in relationships. That's very common. So they get found out. They're having affairs with two or three. This guy's having two or three women, like really bad. And then you leave them and you're the wife. Oftentimes the narcissist will still say, I can't believe she did that to me. How dare she hurt me? Because you're always against them when you put a boundary against a narcissist, and then and that boundary is always seen as an attack. And to deal with them,
Mm.
there's this term that's coming up. I've heard it like 4 times this week. I feel like it's going to be a term for 2025 where maybe we talked about Alikona, gray rock. Did I mention that to you, or I was talking with
Uh-uh.
someone else? I've had like 5 people say, "Oh, I just had to gray rock them," and it's this term that people, I don't know where it came from in this psychology term, but where when you talk to people, you don't give them any emotion. You don't tell them a lot about like if you're at work, you only talk about work. If they ask you how your day was, you say fine. You don't say it was great. I went to the ice cream store. You give them nothing because it's dealing with people that often turn your words against you. And
Mm.
so you don't even look at them directly in the eye. You give them no emotion and no kind of energy of you. You just keep
That
it to
is
them.
so hard.
It's very hard. But when you are talking with a narcissist and putting up a
Mhm.
boundary, if you show any emotion, they will use that in a second to manipulate you.
Mm. That's so scary
Yay.
because I
Yeah, it's
know,
scary.
yeah.
It's scary.
Happy New Year. Um, but look, I mean, look, at the end of the day, though, if you are in that kind of a relationship or situation, it is, and you haven't heard about any of this terminology or you haven't seen yourself like outside looking in, hopefully this helps. Um, and hopefully this is that like aha moment that you're like, wait a minute, like shit, yeah, that's me.
Mhm.
Because it does sound a little like depressing, like shit, but it's hopefully like a roadmap to your new life, or a little the light at the end of the tunnel, if you
Because a
know.
narcissist wants you to think, especially in a relationship, we'll use it
Mm.
as that. And what I really feel sorry, and I have a good friend that it's really hard when a parent is a narcissist and the child realizes it, because that's hard. That's your
Oh.
parent, and but a lot of times it is. I mean, I have several friends that have that, and it is creating. They have to create distance with their parents and put those boundaries,
Mm.
and it's really painful. And the narcissist often wants you to believe that you can't function in life without them, that they are
Mhm.
integral and imperative for you to have a good life. And so, for anybody listening that you're feeling this, again, get help, go to a therapist, or go, I forget that guy Ali Kona was talking about, or Dr. Ramani, but also know you can have a better life. And as someone who was in these type of friendships, relationships with narcissists, the joy and the freedom of my life, it now supersedes anything I ever experienced in any of these relationships that I had with narcissists.
Also, too,
Mhm.
just I want to be clear because I know it sounds very straightforward when we talk about it and with technical terms, but when you meet somebody who is a narcissist, and I say that because Matt, you are a perfectly normal, loving, wonderful, amazing human being. There's nothing wrong with you,
Mhm.
which you know that. Oh, sorry, my cat is causing chaos. But
Whew, I thought
anybody
somebody was
can
breaking in.
anybody could, and I've dealt with it too. So I just want to be clear that it's not like somebody who's narcissistic comes into your life and you're like, "Oop, I can tell right away." Like that person is usually really kind and charming, and um it's like they almost hit you left field out of nowhere because the initial getting to know the person seems so
You
wonderful.
can you do develop, I will say, you do develop a sense. I had a friend who said that, she talked about, she was with a narcissist, and she said once you get out of that relationship, she told me, she said you will spot it so quickly and you'll never get into that again. And I have to say, since I've been around several people, or whether it's people that want to be new friends in my life, or I haven't really dated, but a little bit of that. But it is, and maybe I'm gun shy, but at the same time, I do feel like I spot it easier now because
That's such a
I, you
gift.
see, it is a gift actually, because you see it.
Mm.
And I've also done I think if you do to say what you said, Ali, to really talk about what you were talking about, Alikona, if you do the work. And by doing the work, meaning you don't just break up with them, but you ask yourself, what is it about me that
Mhm.
aligns myself with narcissist? And so that's where the control can come back in your life, because you feel powerless. It's, what is it about me? What are my patterns?
Yes.
Um, and I personally, yes, you can do it on your own, But I think for something like this, I highly recommend seeing. I don't know what I would have done to kind of distance myself in this without my own therapist, because it's a really, like you both have mentioned, it's really complex and really hard to tease apart. And it feels this
Mhm.
enmeshment in you that you, like, sometimes when you put up boundaries, it feels like you're ripping a part of yourself to do it, and it's
Mm.
painful, but it has to be done if you want to
Yes.
grow.
You know, it's interesting. And I think boundaries are just so important. And I feel a little bit of the opposite. Like when if if I put a boundary and I don't live up to it, or like you know, I'm trying to think of an example, or on vacation, I'm gonna make sure I work out. I don't know, that's super lame. But then, I'm getting invited to this and I'm getting invited to that. And then this person, is like, well, I'm going to cook this whatever meal. And then you don't want to make them feel bad. But I had this boundary for myself that I was going to stick to these goals. And if I don't do that, like I resent it. Like I resent myself. Like I resent the situation.
Hmm.
Like I'm like in a bad mood, but it was all my fault because I didn't stick to my own boundaries. And I feel like the
Hmm.
stronger that I've made boundaries and have set them, the better I feel about stuff. And it's been a process though, because I think I was super codependent. Like I know you mentioned that earlier. And I feel like I like one, and it's interesting, this one example that happened in my life where I knew I was like, it's okay. Like I figured it out. I used to
Mm.
love watching Oprah. And I forgot 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whenever she came on.
Yep.
And I remember there was some Oprah episode that I knew that I was like, I wanted to see. In the past, a certain somebody would last minute ask me to do something, and I'd be just so excited to spend time with them that I'd be like, okay, and then drop whatever I was going to do, right? Whether it was go on a jog or see something as dumb as, an episode to a show. Because back then you couldn't just like
Yep. This
record it.
before DVR, you had to. Some of you are like, what the fuck is she
I
talking about?
know.
Like
This
y'all
happened
had to
later.
be there at 3 o'clock, or you were gonna miss it.
Exactly. So I remember going through all this stuff, and then I kind of like saw myself, and then it like clicked. And I'm sure there was, obviously there's always like a bunch of different things that happen where you're just like, this needs to stop. And it happened again, kind of, I had allowed the pattern to continue. And so, same thing. There's this one episode I'm excited to see, and this person did the same thing. And I really wanted to hang out with them. And I was like, no, no, I really wanted to watch this Oprah episode, and I'm gonna watch it. And I think they were like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, then they were like, "Oh, but tomorrow I can't, and this and this." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, I can't now." And it just felt so like, yes, good job. And it
That's how
wasn't
bound.
easy though.
I think you gave a great example of, for somebody listening, they're like, but how do I set boundaries? Set them in small spaces,
Small,
and that's where you build the tools to set it in large context. And
true.
that's exactly what you did. And I it's you're right. It is your I don't know I don't know if it's your fault if you don't adhere to your boundaries, but it is your responsibility,
Hmm.
because no one is if you don't keep your own boundaries, no one else is going to keep them for you.
That's right.
And but there's a normal should be a normal kind of tete-a-tete of you tell your family, "Hey, I want to watch this show." And
Hmm.
someone goes, "Oh, okay. Well, how long's the show?" And they're like, "Oh, it's an hour. Well, do you want to hang out after the show?" And yeah,
Exactly.
okay, great. Or, "Oh, we can do next." Cool. That's someone also respecting your boundary. Whereas a
Correct.
narcissist would say, you say, "Hey, I want to watch this show." And they go, "Oh man, I really wanted to hang out with you and I can only do now. And if you
Hmm.
don't hang out with me now, then I'm not going to be a hang out with you for like 2 weeks." Because what a
Exactly.
narcissist does, if you put up a boundary, they're going to punish you. It's a
Hmm.
big part of that personality disorder is punishing the people that do that. So
Hmm.
anyway, I think in that case, that's not your fault or responsibility if you cave. It's your responsibility if you cave, but also just know you're being manipulated and your boundaries are being
Hmm.
manipulated.
Yeah, and noticing the pattern, because I think that's why it was at that point such a like, wait, this is always happening like this. Like it's always kind
Yeah,
of
same.
last
Yeah,
minute. Like
that's where
you're
I
not
saw it.
planning
You start to
anything.
see it once and you go, "Oh shit. I'm
Hmm.
doing this in every part of my life. I was doing it in every part of my relationships, my family,
Mhm.
my business relationships, even with my own business partner. Like I'd be like, he would ask me to do, and I'd like, oh, I have this, and I wouldn't tell him, and I would move everything in my life, and then I
Mhm.
started just saying, oh, I can't do this because I have something. Then, and guess what? My business partner is like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
so sometimes too, with people that aren't, we think that they're going to care so much when you're a people pleaser and codependent, and really they don't even give a shit. They're not even
Right.
thinking of that.
Yeah.
Especially the people that care about you and respect you,
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to be like, all right, cool. Like, I know that about you. I know you need to get your workout in. Like, hit me up when you're done. Or I know that's
Right?
your favorite show and I know you need your tea time and your book reading and you're scrolling while you watch that, reality show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's your thing. Go ahead, do it. Like, those people are the ones you keep around because they respect your time that you take for yourself.
Yes, we should surround ourselves with people that want us to experience our joy and know that our joy won't take away from their joy. With a
Mhm.
narcissist, if you have joy, they feel like joy is I can't think of the exact word right now, it's escaping me, but is a in short supply. And that whereas joy is
Mm.
in full supply, we can all have as much joy in our lives with boundaries that we want. But for a narcissist, they feel like they don't have joy because they feel like they're a shitty person, and so they're not happy with themselves, so they have no joy. So when you have that, they can become very jealous, or very territorial,
Mhm.
and ask you like,
And
why, almost question you and make you doubt yourself for having
right.
that.
And you don't get it unless I get it too type of.
Yeah.
They don't
Hmm.
want you to have it that.
Yeah.
You rose your hand earlier, Ali Kona. What was that
Sorry.
about for the people who aren't watching the video?
Okay. It wasn't a question or a statement. It was more like,
I
yeah,
know
I'm
it
guilty of
wasn't,
that
but I
too.
just
Like me too. I can people please, and it's like I've been in all the situations stated above, all the like, and even with like just I will bend over backwards, like even like with walking people's dogs, right? I'll be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like someone will be or like, can you come watch? Can you come watch? Whatever. Rufus for me this weekend, and I'll be like, oh shoot, I'm doing this, but maybe I can do this. Da, da, da. And it's so interesting because
Mhm.
my mom actually thought she had said to me once, she was like, oh God, you're just always so concerned about money. And I was like, it actually isn't about the money at all. It was more so about that, like, I feel like I'm letting somebody down because they count on me. Uh,
Mm,
so very interesting
Mm.
take of that. But
it's
anyway, and oh,
no,
go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. Oh, I
No, I was
was
just
just gonna
saying
say we've. Oh, okay, you're good.
I think it what? So I'm working on it. What I was getting at is I'm working on it, and this whole past, I think, year, or maybe even since we've started doing the podcast, is like really learning how to say no, as we've discussed in past episodes. But like
Yes.
not just saying, yeah, just not just saying it, but being okay with it. Like saying the no and then not later
Mhm.
on beating myself up and be like, oh God, was that rude? Was that awful? Is this
Mhm.
person gonna be
You've
mad
gotten
at me?
so good at that. Yeah, no, it's
It's a
it's
skill. It's a skill. For instance, like when you asked me a couple of weeks ago to do this podcast, and you say, "Oh, we want to do the new year," and you probably didn't even think of this, but my first thought is, "Oh, Jake and I get like 2 weeks off a year. I'm off from like because 90 Day Fiance airs all the time. And so I'm off from like Christmas Day to January 1st. That week, I do not want to get on a microphone. I'm off. Whereas in my head, I think, oh, are they going to be upset if I tell them I can't do it till after the first?
oh yeah.
And y'all don't, here we are, and you don't care at all. But I feel like
Mm-mm.
that's the, if you're a people pleaser, that is the
Yeah.
process you go through
Like, I
when
hope they're not
people that,
mad.
yes, and if people that care about, and I told Alikona, I was like, I'm taking my week off then, but I can do it after that. And guess what? She's my friend, and she went, cool, that's great. And God, because she knows I need a break. And so I think the
And you deserve
boundary
it.
set, well, and the boundary setting, but also, and we can talk for like 3 hours, but there's also something to with narcissists. See how they react to your success. Are they jealous of your success?
Mhm.
That's a narcissistic personality disorder versus someone who is just, a little self-absorbed. Or another example is, how do they react to you when you are suffering? Because a narcissist really isn't able to have empathy. They only have, quote,
Mm.
fake empathy, or they like might model, or if you've ever been in a situation, like I remember in one, um, friendship relationship I had where I was really sad. I was really upset, and the way they comforted me, it just felt inauthentic. It felt almost like they watched a movie and they were acting the way somebody acts in a movie. Like it didn't feel
Weird.
like it was coming from a place of genuine care and concern that I was suffering. So those are some other things besides boundaries that you can kind of tease out. Am I in a relationship, whatever, with a narcissist?
Mm.
That's
Oof.
super helpful.
Yeah.
What were you
I
gonna
would say
say?
all of it's so fascinating. Sadly though, our time like flew by so quickly and we
Yes.
have to wrap this
Always
episode up.
does.
But
Yes.
we always end the episode with what if, and I don't think I told Matt about this. Whoops. So
Didn't,
basically
but
what
I'm an
if,
improv queen. Let's go.
let's go. So what if is
I always like it when
basically,
people haven't don't know about it.
huh?
I purposely like it like when people
Oh,
don't know about it because it's just feels a little bit more in the
not
moment
planned.
raw.
Well, let's
Okay,
do it.
cool. So what if is just basically something that's been on your mind that you could potentially what if in the worst possible way because that's human nature tendency like oh my god what if I'm late and what if I give this speech and
Mhm.
people hate it and what if but it's like you what if the best possible outcome about that thing that's been on your mind. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna what if first and I'm gonna share like some funny coincidences that have happened. So my what if is about my friend passing, right? And the what if this person is around and can see me, and I would love them to see like some of these good moments. So when I came into the house, I was initially very sad, and then this is not a what if, this is the story. But I went to use the bathroom, and as I was like sitting on the toilet, like tinkling very femininely, the lights started to flicker, and I was like, really? Like while I'm tinkling, could you not let me know another time that you were here? So
Mhm.
what if that was her? But then today when I was looking up my song, I went into YouTube and like I typed in her name and songs and her song came up, but you know how ads play before the video and I pushed play and the ad wasn't actually an ad, it was the music video for Coldplay's All My Love. And it was Dick Van Dyke like going through different moments of his life dancing and
Oh, that
singing this song
new
about All My
video.
Love.
Yeah.
And I was like, so my what if is like,
Aw.
what if that was Linda, like
Nice.
peeking in, just being like, I'm sending you all my love. So that's it.
Mhm.
Oh, I love
I love
that.
it.
I love
Thanks.
that. What if I just recently watched it just came out because I'm a comic nerd, the Marvel What If, because they do that and they just had the
Oh.
last season of that. I really enjoyed it. That's neither here nor there, but I had to get it out of my head to make room for um something else. I think for me is I'm in this place of what if I really believe in myself this year? What if I really like kind of that's been what could happen because I've have a lot of, we all have our own doubts and this and that and I feel to kind of sound from a place of yes, it's still working. My codependency is again, it's something the way I'm programmed. So I'm going to have to work on that the rest of my life and that's okay. But
Mhm.
I do feel very healed from the narcissistic abuse that I've had. Very healed from that and in a place of strength that I've never had before. And so that's why I'm in this place of what if I truly believe in the things that I've been too afraid to speak out loud that I know I can do.
Yes.
Mm.
I
So
love that.
that's mine. What's
I'm
yours, Valerie?
going to keep it simple this one. I was telling Alikona I almost didn't do the podcast today because this morning I was like, I just I was in bed till like one something, which is not like me. Not that I'm like an early riser like Alikona by any means, but um,
She's up.
and then you wrote, she said maybe it's all of the stuff that like happened through the holidays, and maybe it's just now like coming out of your body, and I've heard that before where it's like um just like different energies or whatever, and then you or just like even toxins, right? Like when you eat bad stuff and whatever, it
Mhm.
comes out in your pores and you have blemishes. So when you said that, Ali Kona, when you texted me that, I was like, Like that's an interesting thought. And so I was like, what if it is that? And what if all of this anxiety and overwhelmingness that I am feeling because of like coming out of so much. Um what if it is exactly that, like what I'm the sickness that I'm feeling now, and this weight is just coming out and it's being released, and I'm going to get organized and just clear it up in my head enough to feel where I normally feel in the beginning of the year, which is like clear and excited, and not that I'm not motivated, but there's just like a different feeling and I'm not there, and because it's really it's a very strange feeling for me, and I feel like I don't know, so off. So what if it's like within like a day or two, like I'm able to release it and get organized and just feel more like myself quicker than
Yeah.
I was thinking it would take.
Well, and
You will.
what if you're just tired and you need rest? I say this
Yeah.
to Alikona all the time because she's go, go, go too. Like Brene Brown has a whole thing she's talked about. I've
Oh yeah,
listened
I
to her
like her.
podcast. This whole thing about we don't honor rest in our, especially
Hmm.
in this Western culture. A lot of Eastern cultures honor rest and it's expected. You know, and I think in Americans especially, what if we honor rest so that way we can
Hmm.
I've been trying to just sit and like have time in a day, even if it's 30 minutes where I just sit and think. When do we do that?
Hmm. Hmm.
So just yeah, you just need
Yes,
a
I
rest,
love
sugar.
that. Yes, I'm gonna take that because I had even told David, I'm like, should I go to like Hotworks and like what? He was like, no. And, oh, because my plantar fasciitis. Also, I didn't tell you that, Alicona. Like, I went running.
Oh, that's
I
painful.
it is, and there's no reason. Like, I haven't been doing anything super crazy, and so I need to
No,
put
but
my
you've been holding you hold
Energy.
tension and it's time and
yeah.
it's
So I think
energy and
that's
it's
what it
time.
is.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, seriously, like I finally get back to LA, and like how we are. Like I want to just hit the ground running because I haven't been doing the workouts. And it's anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, and basically David said what you said, Matt. He was like, "What? No." He's like, "You need to just rest and put your foot in an ice bucket
Well,
and
exactly.
sit your ass down."
I mean, I met the man. He's more than pretty. He's smart too.
Yes, good minds think alike. Yeah. So,
Mm.
but thank you both for thank you for bringing this topic, Ali Cohn. I think, and if anybody's listening, yeah, please take some of this advice. Please seek help if you feel like you're in these kind of relationships, and always remember to what if any situation that you're in the best possible light. Because I always say this at the end of the episode, like I always feel so excited when we get into these like wild what ifs. I'm like, yes. Um, Even though some of them don't have to be super wild to be exciting, but stay in that mindset. And we appreciate you always for listening. And thank you for coming back,
Thank you for having
rocking the
me.
hat.
Yay. All right. Bye, guys. We love you. Thank you. Mwah.
Bye. Till next time.